promotional stuff?
No, just like, here's the segment you did. Because like
Oh,
one of the guys who's
sweet.
I know. One of the guys who was on one of our segments earlier today was like, "Hey, I just got the video." I was like, "I want the video."
Yeah, right.
So
you just like put that on social media, dating apps. You're like, no, Amazon pays me. It's like you gotta.
I mean, maybe You know, it's so crazy. I just got not just got like 6 months ago. I got accepted to Raya.
Okay.
And I was like, oh my God,
yeah,
I made it. I did it. You know what I mean? And because I had requested it like 2 years ago and I never got it.
Okay.
And I was like, shit, I made it to Raya. And then Raya isn't terrible, but it's like I've been on 2 Raya dates. Both of them felt like we were both figuring out why we were on Raya.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I could see that.
So you're just like, oh, what do you do? And we're like, oh yeah, I'm in marketing. For what?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, you know, a business. What do you do?
Everyone's being vague.
Yeah, they're like, oh, I do comedy.
Work in plastics. You're like,
yeah, and I'm just like, okay, so this is not. So it just felt like, I think like if Riot was set up more as like a networking app of like, hey, everyone needs friends with blue check marks in New York City.
Sure, yeah.
Here's Raya, a blue check mark friend group.
Yeah.
I think that would be 10 times easier because I think that like that's what I would probably end up using it for more than anything else.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have the blue check mark yet?
No.
Once the show comes out?
Oh, I'm pushing for it.
Okay.
You know, on
this will come out after the show, so I think we could talk about it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
All right, so that'll be fun. You know what? It's so crazy. You heard Elon Musk is about to start charging people for the blue check mark.
Yes.
So you can apply and get one now.
Yeah.
For I think $8 a month.
Something. Yeah. That's what he's trying to do. I don't know if like for me personally, like I don't really care. I guess it's like if everyone's got a blue check mark, then like why do I care if I have a blue check mark? I'm just like telling my silly little jokes.
Yeah.
This is like
I don't think I care on Twitter.
Yeah.
If it's a blue check mark on Twitter.
Instagram blue check mark
is
big,
valid,
yes.
and like TikTok blue check mark sounds like I would sell a child for that, right? Because like you gotta like there are like really good content creators that are constantly putting out videos and they're always blowing up, and they don't have blue check marks on TikTok. So it's like
it's hard to get it natural. Like you need like multiple millions of followers to naturally get the blue check mark on TikTok. Because truth be told, it's not that hard to get followers on TikTok.
No.
You really only need just like a few videos to go viral.
That happened to me a couple weeks ago.
Yeah?
Yeah, I had a video go super viral.
Nice.
And then I went from 1,000 followers to like 8,000 in 1 week.
Yeah.
And then I just started posting more videos from that set.
Yep.
And I went from 8,000 to 10,000.
Nice.
Now I'm like closer to 11. But it took like a week and a half to do that.
Yeah.
Where I've been building like 6,000 followers on Instagram for years.
Right. Yeah,
For years, I've been like
begging people after shows, like,
hey,
please follow me.
You don't have to stick around. Just if you would love to follow, you can.
All right. This is how fucking hard it is to get Instagram followers for people that aren't comedians. So my show, which you've done a couple of times, that I do with Chris Ryder, who's done this podcast a bunch of times. On the table, we put a QR code. And it takes it to, you scan that and it takes your phone to a link tree, which then has every single comedian's Instagrams on the link tree. Like we are handing it to them. We are having the host multiple times throughout the show bring up, you know this, you host. We bring it up at least 2 or 3 times. Like, guys, if you like the comedians, follow them on Instagram. Follower is the only thing that matters anymore. I swear to God, I get like maybe 1 or 2 and I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm not like, we booked the show so that Chris and I are not the best comics on the show. I want to be the worst comic on every one of my shows.
I think that like
even the headliners don't get these fucking Instagram followers.
No.
It's like, you just watched for 20 minutes. We just asked you to follow it. God damn it. Just give them a follow.
Well, first of all, you do put on a really great show, and you guys are both very hilarious on the show. So like,
thank you.
You know, it's I have seen the shows where like you know a host should have been a producer.
Yeah.
And like a producer only, and they're like, and then they're like, no, I've got a good tight 10, and they've got like a tight 2, and you're like, all right, well, this has been the hosting segment of the show, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, you guys have a really good show, but getting a following is hard, and then also like the following retention rate, like how often they stick around, how much they come back to other shows. That's a whole thing I had to learn because like I was getting all these followers at one point. on Instagram. I was like, holy shit, I'm fucking killing it. And then I was like, hey, followers, I have a show happening. Come to the show.
Oh my God.
3 people come. And you're like, all right.
TikTok's even worse. It's because they're all over the fucking place. They never actually met you or know what you do or who you are and where you are.
And then every now and then, like, one guy in Colorado is like, you gotta come to Colorado.
I swear to God, I'll get all 3 of my friends to come to this show.
Dude, you come to Aspen. I swear to God, bro, we got you. And I'm like, all right, well, thanks, but like, can you bring 50 of your friends to do so?
Yeah, right.
So, you know, following is weird, and like, everything's based off the numbers. I used to work at Caroline's. I used to work social media for Caroline's. And there were people who were famous people who were like had like popular shows. Like one was like a big Canadian sketch comedy show.
Yeah.
And like that came on in the 90s or the early 2000s. And they were trying to do a show at Caroline's. Mm-hmm. And they were like, check their Instagram following. And it was something like 10,000. And they were like, that's not enough to pack out.
No. Definitely not.
Yeah. They're like, they post that up, they're not going to fill up the room. So then we didn't book him, even though he was a famous guy from TV.
Wow. Every time that there's like a headliner show that is not a social media star at like a Midtown club like that, I'm shocked. I'm like, where are these people coming from? Because it's almost all like social media people.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing is like, you have this weird thing that's happening in comedy where 2 things are happening. One, you're getting people who are really good at social media but not necessarily great on stage, and they're blowing up on social media, and they're like, I want to make money from this, and then they start trying to do comedy on stage. But they're packing out these rooms very early in their career because they've got that following that really wants to see them and support them, but they're not good yet.
Right.
Then you also have this other facet of people who've been doing comedy for a while and saw the writing on the wall of like, yo, social media is about to be the big thing.
Yep.
Let me hop into this. Let me post things up. And they're building followings that are able to sell out these rooms with that, and they're crushing.
Yes.
But so it's like this weird line skip that you can do now, whereas when I first started doing comedy, it was like, 1, no one tells you a rule book. But 2, it's like, I thought it was get good at the clubs, or get really good at comedy. Someone notices you, they put you here, they notice you there, they put you on a bigger stage and XYZ, and then you do it. You can skip the line now. In a way.
It's kind of a new line now. I think there are a lot of people that did skip the line. I think there are too many people trying to skip the line. You know how like you're going to like Disney World and you can get the fast pass, but now everyone knows you can get the fast pass, so the line for the fast pass is actually longer than just the regular line.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's kind of what happened with comedy and social media. Like everyone was like, oh, I don't need to go to shows because all I need to do is just get really good at social media. And then it turns out like, oh, no. You need to do at least both. But
that's
you can't rely on just social media anymore because there's too many choices. There's too many creators. There's too much competition. The odds of like your one video went super viral, which is awesome. Getting that every single week is so fucking hard. It's unbelievable.
I figured out why it went viral too. It wasn't that the bit was particularly amazing. It was a bit that I had come up with on the fly. Literally, it was a bit I had written that day, and I was like, this is great, but it felt... You ever write something where
it's
you're
like good when that happens, but it's like, really?
Yeah, because all the bits that I posted where I was like, I took time and effort and made this like good and perfect. It did okay.
Yeah.
They didn't do those numbers.
Yep.
And every bit that got successful on TikTok was because I was wearing that sweater.
What?
Half the comments were like, this is the funniest thing I've ever heard. And the other half were like, I love that sweater.
What is the sweater?
It's a Starry Night Van Gogh sweater.
Wow.
That's it.
That's it.
I even tested it by posting the exact same bit in a different shirt.
Yeah.
Nothing.
It got reported.
Nothing.
You got kicked off of social media. They're
Nothing
like, no, we need the sweatshirt.
Exactly. So then it's like, do I become the Van Gogh Starry Night sweater comic? You know what I mean? We're like, this is my outfit, and I go on stage and I perform like this. So when people see me, they're like, oh, it's that guy.
Yeah.
Or do I went and bought 4 new sweaters that I thought were better looking than the other ones, and I started posting in those, and that didn't work either.
No.
So it was like, what do I do? I'm stuck.
Yeah. You just got to prey to the algorithm, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I mean, the algorithm knows what works, and like
Yeah.
I think it sees that little blue Starry Night thing happening. And it's like this
Yep.
one, make it viral.
I think that's actually a good transition to what we actually wanted to talk about.
Let's talk about it.
Marvel movies.
Yeah.
And we'll just start off hot. I think a lot of people are getting tired of Marvel movies because they feel algorithmic in that they're relatively the same. You're a big Marvel fan.
I am.
Do you want to answer that, or you want to start from the beginning?
All right, that's a loaded question.
Fighting words right off
These
the top.
are very
Let's get this
big
going.
fighting words. Okay, so yes,
I didn't say me. I said some people.
right. Yes, they are algorithmic, but for a reason, and I think that
Okay.
the reason that they're becoming algorithmic is probably what is ruining it for the fans. But I think
Okay.
ultimately it's what the fans are going to want at the end of it all, right?
Yeah.
They did a really good job over more than 5 years building up to Endgame. You had all these different
Well, that was
characters.
10 years, wasn't it?
10
Like,
years, I think.
Didn't Iron Man come out in wasn't that like 2007, 2008?
Yeah.
So that was the original,
No,
right?
I thought it was because the original Incredible Hulk came out in 2004, but they don't count that
Yeah, I was gonna say
all the time.
Yeah.
So let's see.
because you've got because there was like a Daredevil movie for a
2008.
while, and there was like there was all these like one-offs, but I thought Iron Man was the first one that was like supposed to be building to this bigger picture where
Right.
it's like you sign on Robert Downey Jr. and he's like in it for the long haul type deal. I don't even remember who played the original Hulk. Was it
So-
the dude from Fight Club?
That was
What's his name?
Edward Norton.
Edward Norton, yeah.
He played one of them,
Okay.
but I don't think it was the original. I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong. Okay. No. Do you know why they created? They had Iron Man lead it though.
Please. Yeah.
Toy sales.
Ah.
They had all the other ones that they were thinking about doing.
Uh-huh.
Kids wanted to play with Iron Man. He had a retractable helmet. He had all the
Yeah.
little repulsor beams.
The light up in the chest thing.
There you go.
Yep.
And so they were
Wow.
like, all right, well, the toys are going to sell. We'll start with Iron Man, a relatively obscure kind of superhero, things
Yeah.
like that, kind of built from there. And as that happened, all these people started getting into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You know, all these different movies that were very separate from Iron Man started folding into it, but not because of the movie itself, but because like the end, Samuel L. Jackson would come in and be like, I'm building a team.
Yeah.
I'm building a team. Just stick around.
Oh,
And
they
they're
were
like-
so good at the teaser.
Right.
They used to be so good. Now it's a little bit like, okay, where's the teaser?
Exactly,
Like, I'll
exactly.
watch it
You're
online.
expecting it. You know it's
Yeah,
coming, right?
yeah.
And then now you're building a new Marvel fan base, and that Marvel fan base is actually reading comic books and things like that. So there's nothing that you can really tease,
Okay.
and there's nothing that really can like build. So there's that end of it. And then you had Avengers, and then you kind of built on that dynamic and grew that dynamic, started adding more people and, you know, adding different conflicts and situations, but you felt like you
Yeah.
knew every character. I mean, by the time it got to Endgame, you know, and people were blipped and coming back, you were like, oh my God, like Black Panther just got here. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
right.
Spider-Man just got here. What are you doing? You know, you felt like some pain towards it. So they have to do this again.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's wildly successful. Disney doesn't want to lose any money,
No.
right? And so,
Oh, I mean, with the theme parks and the toys and just like all of the IP, all the TV shows, all
Exactly.
the video games, like,
like when Christopher Nolan made the Dark Knight saga, he was like, I'm making 3 movies.
yeah.
I'm done. This is the whole thing.
Yes.
This is the trilogy. We're done. Disney's like, yo, this is a lot of money. And we've got theme parks. And
Yeah.
we've got movies. And we've got whole, like, you know, comic books that we can now sell and all this other stuff connected to it. Why not make more? So then you've got this weird thing that happens after Endgame where, like, there's a complete story that happens. And now we've got to build a new storyline.
Okay.
So what is the best way to do that? Do you have a continuation of the stuff that you've built over the last 10 years? Or do you think to yourself, hey, we've got a new generation of people to do the exact same thing to?
Yeah.
Because all the people who were in it 10 years ago are in their 20s and 30s and 40s now,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Why not get that Gen Z, you know, and
Yeah.
below kind of people into
Yeah.
comic books? So why not start with like Disney Plus or like a Scarlet Witch,
Yeah.
or like with She-Hulk or Moon Knight or things like that? These relatively obscure kind of superheroes that are on the fringe of
Yes.
everything, and then build a new Miss Marvel, build a new universe out of these people, so that like one, this new generation has someone to look at and be like, oh my god, I see them in me, or I see myself in these superheroes. But two, so they can have their own end game.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there's going to be something big that's happening. We know that's going to happen. They've teased it for all this time, but we just don't know what it is yet. And I think that like by having the Marvel Cinematic Universe at this point in time be so incongruent, so all over the place, so scattered that like you're not able to pick up the clues and be like, this is how it's going to end.
Right.
It's forcing you to hate watch it.
Yeah.
Or not watch it at all.
Yeah. I was going to say, I don't think I hate watch it. I think I'm just much choosier with what I'm watching with Marvel. So I think part of the problem that I have or have had with it the last couple of years is just the sheer amount of movies. Like in the first series, I understand like Ant-Man is someone that should be around. Like that's a good character. It's a good, like Paul Rudd's great. It's a good movie. But like, did we need 3 Ant-Man movies? And I understand that they're like, you know, they got to put something out every year. They can't. But also, on the other side, do they have to? Like, would less people have seen Endgame if they had one Ant-Man movie, or if they had one Doctor Strange movie, or something like that?
Yes and no. I mean, because all these movies have been, here's a movie introducing the character, and here's a secondary movie introducing conflict to that character.
Yes.
Right. So then you see how they're really tested under conflict, and then the third movie is how does a character, like, taking the conflict that they've had, then bring in a new reality into like you know that situation. So it's all been formulaic in that way. I think that like, yes, I do think we need 3 Ant-Men. However,
I want to know how many people in the world have ever said that.
I think we need 3. I don't think we need 3 as quickly as we're getting them.
Sure. Okay.
Because when the universe first started, we were getting about a movie a year.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 if we were lucky.
It was like, didn't like Iron Man 3 and the first Captain America in the same year or something, and it was like, oh my god, like that's so cool. We get both of these. That's great. Like
now we've got what, 4 Disney shows in 2 years? 4 or 5?
I think it's more than that. Because Moon Knight, like Loki, Scarlet Witch,
Miss Marvel, and
Miss
She-Hulk.
Marvel. Yep, She-Hulk. So it's 5.
5 in like 2 years.
Yeah,
That's a lot of shows.
And it's a lot of shows to watch. And I think the other part of it is that they're like, it used to be like the Marvel movies didn't miss. Like every Iron Man movie got great reviews. Every Captain America movie.
Iron Man movie.
All right,
Iron
the
Man
first
2
two
were trash.
The
Iron Man 2 was trash.
You didn't like 2?
2 was terrible.
I might have been too young to appreciate how bad it was.
There was that was the one with what's his name? He was a former wrestler.
Oh, Mickey Rourke.
Mickey Rourke.
Yeah.
Trash.
All right. I haven't seen that in
I would say of all the
years.
movies, Thor and the Iron Man were the worst ones. Iron Man 1 was great.
Oh, I loved Thor.
The original Thor?
Oh, yeah.
Gold hair Thor.
Oh, yeah.
Jeez.
I love Thor. This is, no, but
your
this
opinion's invalid for the rest of this argument. Are you fucking serious? Ragnarok was the only good Thor.
Ragnarok was great. The other two, and maybe
if you say Thor 2 was good, I'm out.
It was fine.
All
the
right.
first one I liked. The second one was like, all right. Ragnarok was great. I didn't see the new one.
Okay.
Because I heard it was bad.
The new one was
was
campy,
like,
which I think was like good and bad. Like, Thor is for the kids.
Yeah.
Let it be for the kids. You know what I
That
mean?
was a subtle dig against me. Yeah. I see you.
Like, I think that like that's
It's for children. It's for literal children.
For children.
And you loved it.
Like, oh,
You
that's not a wig at
stupid
all.
idiot.
Like, no. It's no, because what it is like 10 years ago, it would have been fine.
Yeah.
Because we were young.
Yes.
we're looking at these. That
is a good point. I have not seen Thor 1 since I was in my teen years.
We're expecting these movies to age with us. We're expecting the shows to age with us. And in some ways they're trying to, but because they're still talking to a Disney young crowd,
right.
They can't do it in the same. They've got to be very like tongue in cheek about it. Like the She-Hulk series, the big villain was incels. Like I shit you not. I wish I was wrong about this. The big villain.
No fucking way.
There was like this group. I swear to God, they had their own like Andrew Tate kind of conference.
Wow.
Where they were like, she shouldn't deserve these powers because these powers should go to men. She didn't even earn them. The whole thing.
Yeah.
Like the big climactic moment was they leaked her sex tape. I shit you not.
Wow.
And then but like at a conference she was supposed to be at, where she was being honored for Woman Lawyer of the Year amongst 7 other ladies who all got honored Woman of the Year because they were the only women in the department. Like it was just
they all had OnlyFans though. I'm assuming that's how.
Who knows?
They were like, wait,
no.
This
So what happened
issue.
was she hooked up with a guy and he videotaped it without her consent. And then they leaked the video, and so like
it's all starting to make sense why there was so much like internet hate for this show from the incels. They were like
from the
after
incels.
it, and I was like, all
the
right.
show factored that in. They were interviewing the director of the show, and they were like, "Yo, we didn't realize how like prevalent the incel movement was going to be." But like to have the first couple episodes come out and hear all of these men be like, "She didn't earn these powers. Women don't even get that angry. They're just fucking emotional." And then like having the villain be those guys, those internet trolls. At the end of the day, she was like, "This was icing on the cake."
That's pretty brilliant.
It was pretty brilliant. But again, it's like trying to bridge this gap between like us as grown people and like children who are now watching these shows.
Yes.
Like my favorite Marvel shows were the Netflix ones.
Yeah, same.
But like when
actually,
what was your favorite one of them?
I think I got to go with Jessica Jones.
Really?
Oh, The Punisher was also great. I liked them all. Even that like weird one where it was kind of the combination.
Defenders?
Yes, Defenders. I was like, yeah, it's entertaining.
Did you like
see
Iron
why
Fist?
they did it. It was fine.
Yeah.
That was the one that I was like, okay, all right. But yeah, Punisher, Daredevil, and Jessica Jones. We're all fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. I even like Luke Cage.
Yeah, that was a great one.
I thought the actor himself who played Luke Cage wasn't amazing. Like he didn't emote that much.
Right.
But everyone else around him was fantastic. Like the plot was fantastic. Like it was just really, really fun to watch. You know what I mean? It was a lot like watching The People versus OJ.
Yeah.
Where Cuba Gooding Jr. wasn't doing a good job.
Yeah.
But like everyone else was doing a good job around Cuba Gooding Jr. So you're like, whatever. It's Cuba Gooding Jr. playing OJ. Whatever. I don't give a fuck. But like the guy playing fucking, Sarah Paulson playing Marsha, she did fantastic.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So like that was how I looked at Luke Cage. But Daredevil, I recently rewatched, and it was just perfect start to finish.
I'm glad you brought those up because I think your point about like Marvel is still making shows for children, and like Disney Plus doesn't have anything that's over TV 14 on it. They don't do any TVMA, and they have completely gone away from those adult shows.
They're trying to.
And what do you mean? They're trying to go away from it? Or
so there was a movie that just got released. Something about a werewolf. Some werewolf movie that Marvel released, and it was TVMA, but it was due to like blood and violence and stuff.
Okay.
Like that. It was fine. I mean, it was actually a really, really good movie. But like for the mature rating, I was like, all right,
sure,
this is fine. I think that the hard part about Marvel is it's really just grown people arguing how childish a child's thing is supposed to be.
Right.
Like, yeah, it would be like arguing the continuity discrepancies in Power Rangers. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Yes.
Like,
yeah.
It's not even the same costume, dude. What are you doing?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Update your shit. Like the Mighty Morphins are not as good as the Ninja Force. Ninja Force Power Rangers were always going to be the best. And don't even get me started about fucking Mega Dino.
Yeah.
Because Dino, like, it's just like, sure.
We love having stuff to argue about.
Yeah.
I guess what I'm asking is, do you think Marvel is kind of holding themselves back by not leaning into more adult stuff selectively. Because, for instance, I feel like Scarlet Witch would have been better as a TVMA show. It was pretty confusing. It was a pretty out there idea. Children weren't going to get that show anyway. Mm-hmm. But it still had sort of that, like, oh no, we got to keep it PG-13 because this is Marvel or whatever. Yeah. I was like, I would have loved to see like a very dark Scarlet Witch, a very dark Doctor Strange. Like the ones that I feel like there are a few movies that should be pointed more to adults in the Marvel universe that they are choosing not to. Yeah. And I want to know your thoughts on like, do you think that's a good idea in the long run? Do you think like are children buying the Doctor Strange action figure because that movie's PG-13 instead of rated R?
I don't know, dude. That's really, really tough, right? Because like if I'm Disney and I want money, mm-hmm. then my money is going to be in the longevity of my fandom.
Yes.
And how wide that fandom is. You could be like, yo, I want Disney content to like appeal to me, the 25 to 40 range of person. But we're going to grow out of that pretty quickly. And if they don't have that backup plan to get that like 10 to 18, so they have them for 10 years. And then when they become 25 to 45, they're like, oh, we want more content. It's like, it's the same reason why they remake all the Disney movies that we grew up on.
Right.
No one wanted to see a live action Lion King, but Beyonce's in this? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Let's watch this. Like they're trying to bridge.
Kids want to see it.
Kids want to see it. And guess who has to pay for those kids? We do.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, not me specifically.
Right.
But
so then it's like, right, same. But like Disney's going to get that money. Why not get that money?
Yeah.
The thing about it too, from just like a morality sense, is like, do you really want the TVMA version of the grief of losing your children in Scarlet Witch?
I do.
You know what I mean?
Are you kidding? I want like Elizabeth Olsen to like have some, like have the freedom to have like this real range. Like I want it to get dark. And I guess my point is I'm afraid they're losing the 25 to 40 people because like they had us for a while.
Yeah.
But like you said, they're not growing with us. Those movies aren't growing with us. I feel like they have stopped making movies for the people that started with them as we've grown.
Yeah, but you know what? Disney has us in other ways, right? Because like, okay, fine. I don't want to watch these Marvel things anymore. And I'm just going to watch the game and I'm going to watch sports. Guess who owns ESPN?
Well, okay, yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
All right, we can do media conglomerates in another episode.
I think they know how to tap into our range in whatever way they want to do it. But
they're going to sell us insurance if their life fucking depends on it. You're seeing that Liberty Mutual commercial.
Guess who owns Liberty? No, they don't.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was Disney at this point.
Right. So the thing about it is, as more content gets on our streaming platforms, there is content that does reach out to us. Have you seen The Boys?
I love The Boys.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I would love Disney to do that. They're never going to do that.
No.
Right? But Amazon was able to.
Good old Amazon. We all love Amazon. This podcast is brought to you by Thursday Night Football every Thursday.
Every Thursday night football. You know, you can hear about it Friday morning on Sports Talk Game Breakers on Prime Video Live. This is what we are. But
everybody's watching.
Hey, look, Amazon would never say anything wrong about you guys. Honestly, if Disney were to buy Amazon right now,
one-day shipping. My God, I don't know what I'd do without
Prime,
it.
Amazon Prime.
This whole I got 7 boxes. This apartment's just littered in boxes. I could turn the camera, but that'd be too much work.
There's nothing bad I could ever say about Amazon. It's perfect.
I love the drivers. I love Andy Jassy.
They're so nice. All the drivers are so nice. Everybody's so welcoming.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Amazon warehouse worker saved my dog the other day. He was gonna get hit by a car. He saved it. I was like, you know what?
I've seen Amazon.
This is what Amazon stands for.
I've seen an Amazon driver fix a marriage. Look, guys. There's nothing bad.
They work 14 hours at the warehouse and then they do marriage counseling. That's what the type of people that Amazon hires.
Type of people they are. And like honestly, it's like when I think of Amazon, I think of Thanksgiving every day. It's just the goodness out of your heart. It is every day. It's just a full turkey with gravy and everything like that. Nothing bad I could ever say. Anyway, Thursday Night Football.
Yeah.
Tune in. But no, it's like. my question to you, I guess, is do you think Disney has an obligation to reach out to us anymore? Or like when they reached out to us when we were kids, was that exactly what they were supposed to have continued doing? Like keep reaching out to, like, it's like that Matthew McConaughey shit where it's like no matter how old I get, everybody stays the same. For Disney, everyone's 18.
Yeah.
Or 13 or however the age
whatever age they want them to be.
They want it to be for them to reach out to them.
Yep.
So we're aging and they're not, and we're like, why don't they understand what we're going?
Yeah.
It's like talking to a 21-year-old when you're 21 versus talking to a 21-year-old when you're 30.
Yeah.
And you're like, why aren't you getting this? And you're like, I'm 21. Well, I'm literally talking about how my back is aching every day.
Now I see where your riot date went wrong.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So
no, I think you're right, and I think you bring up a very good point of who is the most profitable. What is the most profitable age for Disney to get somebody? And I think it's probably 14. 4? Sure. Okay. So long. I'm talking like if you could get them for 1 year, Marvel Disney. Because if you think about it, if they like a 14-year-old gonna get their parents to buy movie tickets.
Yep.
They're gonna get their parents to buy the shows.
Yep.
They're gonna get their parents to go to Disney World, to go to the Marvel exhibit.
14?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
14.
I don't think there's a single thing that Disney is doing that a 14-year-old would not want to be a part of. And this is exactly to your point, which is like I might want to watch the movie, but I'm not going to fucking Disney World. I'm not going to buy the action figures.
No.
They could put all that effort into those shows, movies, or whatever, and they're going to get 10 hours of viewership out of me. Where like if they put it into these kids, then they're going to get 10 hours of viewerships. They're going to get tickets. They're going to get YouTube dissections. They're going to tell their
merch.
friends. They're going to get merch. That's a great way to put it. My original thought, and I'm glad you brought up The Boys, is that they are leaving that part of the market open. And that's what DC has tried to capitalize on.
But they're doing a really terrible job.
DC is doing an awful fucking job of it.
I didn't even watch Black Adam.
Dark, I didn't either. I was like, if people say this is good, then maybe I'll watch it on my TV after it's done in theaters. People are like, it was awful.
I was more excited to see Mo Amer in Black Adam than I was to see anybody. I was like, oh shit, comedians are getting work.
Yeah,
yes,
right.
Mo. You know what I mean?
That dude is fucking everywhere now.
He's everywhere.
God damn.
He's Hulu.
He's opening for Chappelle. It's like Jesus.
He's got
good for him.
He's got a good trajectory. He's doing well, and I'm happy for him. But like, I think that like that's the thing. It's like DC's trying to do that, but they're trying to do it the Marvel way, which is like, let's create this universe.
Yes.
With no buy-in.
Right.
Like, let's just create it. Then they were like, you know what? The universe isn't working. Batman seems to be going well.
Yeah.
Let's just create stuff around Batman over and over and over again.
Yes.
And like, I'm tired of seeing the same story over and over, so that's not working.
You're tired of the Batman movies?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
The Robert Pattinson one was good, maybe a smidge too long.
Yeah. Definitely too long. I liked it a lot, though.
I liked it a lot.
Okay.
But also, like, we keep seeing Batman's origin over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I want to see a Nightwing movie. I want to see a Robin movie. I want to see a Batman Beyond.
Yes.
If we're gonna go Batman, I want to see a live action movie, Teen Titans. I want to.
Yes.
Like, there's so
I was
many...
actually just thinking. I think Teen Titans would be a good one, and I think it's because like everyone in the DC universe is fairly humanized.
Yes.
They are beatable up to a point. And then they start bringing in Miss Marvel and like the ultra powerful like can't be killed because they could destroy the universe if they wanted to type. But like most of the base layer, like Captain America, you could beat up Captain America.
Yeah.
You can beat up Iron Man, and you could beat up Batman, which is why I would argue like that's really their only consistently successful one. But you can't do shit to Superman.
No, you can't. But I also think that there's like. Also, they keep facing villains that are like ethereal villains. It's like bad guy could destroy universe if wanted to.
Right.
Guy, rather than like the Riddler. I thought was really really great.
Yes.
In that like he was just a guy.
Yep.
Like, to a point where, like, he was turning to, like, his 500 followers and be like, yo, thanks for following me. It's me, the Riddler. You know what I mean? You know, someone's got to destroy Gotham City. I'm just like one of those guys. You know what I mean? You know me. Anyway, follow my Patreon. Donate if you can. You
$3 a month.
Right? And so, like, that felt authentic in the weirdest way.
Yeah.
Of, like, that's the villain, the type of villain I want to see. And that's the type of villain that, like, the DC universe could do really, really well with.
Yes.
And, like, that's what they should be doing, and they're not.
Right.
Rather than, like, we're facing off against Darkseid, or we're facing off against, like, you know, his minion who's just, like, a guy made of stone. Like, no, give me a villain that, like, even, like, when they did with Black Panther. Like, what Marvel did with Black Panther, where, like, you didn't necessarily disagree with the villain.
And this is the new Black, or the
old? So, with, Michael B. Jordan, you were like, well, I mean, if you gave black people weapons, I mean, it wouldn't be bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, usually out, like, like, should we? You know what I'm saying?
This is like personal freedom.
Like, I don't want anyone to be hurt, but they have hurt us for so long. You know?
Yeah.
So, like, and if you were to stand on 125th Street for longer than 10 minutes, you're gonna have that conversation anyway. You know what I mean? Of being like, bro, let's just be nice to everybody.
Now you're confusing that with Luke Cage.
Not saying, right? They're like, no, let's be nice to everybody. They're like, nice. What about 400 years of slavery? You're like, oh shit. So like, what about my 400 years? You're like, whoa, what's going on here? But like, that I think is like what made Black Panther like really, really good. It was like this Malcolm X, Martin Luther King-ishness of it, where like half the audience is like, well, I mean, and the other half of it was like, well, I mean, and DC is like, this is a bad guy.
Okay.
Fight bad guy.
Yeah.
Whereas like, I think a complex villain would be a lot of fun.
Yeah. There is quite a bit more internal struggle.
Yeah.
It feels kind of like those first Iron Man movies and the first Captain America movie was like, this is a bad guy. Iron Man's literally fighting terrorists in that first movie.
He is fighting.
It's like there's not much gray area, but then they do, in terms of storyline, start to get into like, oh no, this is like his mentor that he has to fight, and that's kind of where I think, to your point, it really started to take off because there's like some complexity to it. It's like nobody's 100% right, nobody's 100% wrong.
That's
anymore.
why Civil War was so good.
Civil War was great.
It was great because you were like, hey, look, I don't want people to die, but also I don't want the government controlling who can be saved and who can't be saved. I just want to be a hero. You're like, oh shit, this is a complex thing where like you could see both sides of these things, and then like the good thing about Civil War is it had no conclusion. Everyone was just hurt in the end. Right. But like, even with like Black Panther or some of these more complex films, the main character changes based off of the villain's ideology. Like they go, you know what? Maybe we don't attack everybody and like force liberation on the world. But what we can do is say, how do we help the communities a little bit more so that like they're not struggling as bad? Okay, cool. That's like someone got pushed in a direction due to an equal and opposite force. Whereas with like a lot of the DC movies and a lot of some other movies, it's just like, I beat the bad guy. Yay. Yeah. Like, also, weird side tangent here. And I'm sorry for taking you on such a long tangent.
Please.
I have this theory that I've been working out for quite some time.
Hit me. I love a theory.
Do you remember the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies?
Love them. Yeah.
Fantastic.
I haven't seen them since I was a kid. Okay. But they were like, I mean, the Doc Ock one was like, that might have been the first ever like really good non-Batman superhero movie. Because like some of those older Batman ones were like, they're pretty good.
Mm-hmm. And did you know that they were the first superhero series released post 9/11? Mm-mm. Yeah. So much so that the original trailer for the first Spider-Man movie, the Twin Towers were still in it.
Oh, wow. Okay. They
had to take down the trailer.
Oh, so no.
He was in a hammock between the Twin Towers.
Okay. Or can you find that on YouTube?
Oh, absolutely.
All right.
I can send it to you.
I might have to look that up.
It was like he was either in a hammock or he caught a helicopter that was like trying to get away from a crime.
Okay.
In between the two towers.
God, that'd be a cool shot.
Super cool shot.
Osama bin Laden just took so much from us.
I'll never forget that.
Never forget.
As long as I
we
live,
could have had that sick fucking
I'll
scene
never
in
forget how
Spider-Man.
much Osama bin Laden took from us. Like the Spider-Man shot. Are you serious right now?
Oh my god.
Sure, people died, but the Spider-Man anyway.
Oh,
So
it's just like, I mean, not to minimize, it's just the cherry on top, you know? It's like- we'd be in such a better place as a country if that didn't happen. That's all I'm saying.
So, all right. So, they were the first movies released post 9/11, and if you look at the plot of each movie, they directly follow the Iraq War.
Oh man. Okay. Yeah, please.
Hear me out.
Elaborate.
Spider-Man 1.
Okay.
All right. You have a absolute hero. You have an absolute villain.
Okay.
All right. Green Goblin is unquestionably a bad guy.
Yeah.
All right.
He's got the backstory of like they were buddies, which also the U.S. was friends with Iraq.
Boom.
And Saddam Hussein.
There you go.
Yep.
And then shit changed.
Yep.
And now they're no longer friends. And not only were they no longer friends, but Saudi Arabia / Green Goblin was talking a lot of shit behind his back, trying to figure shit out, and then was like, "No, I'm gonna attack you. I'm gonna, whatever." Absolute hero, absolute villain. Hero prevails over the villain, just like the U.S. is prevailing over this war. Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2, a little bit more complex. Okay.
Yep.
You know, you've got a hero that just wants to do good. Like, you got a guy who just wants to do good, but he just hasn't figured out the right way to do it yet.
Uh-huh.
You know, and sometimes doing that just comes off a little bit more evil than what you thought it was, and now that evil is just attached to you in the back of your neck. You can't almost get rid of it, and it's so visible that everyone wants to talk about it, and that's the only thing people see about you.
Yep.
You know, kind of like the egg on the face that the U.S. had when they were like, "Oh, Iraq has weapons of mass destruction," and they didn't. You know, and so, but not only that, like,
You saying the octopus claws weren't actually there?
Nope.
They were
a figment of everyone's imagination.
He wasn't actually making the sun. He was like thinking about it.
Exactly. You know, you need a lot of nuclear power to make the sun. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All in all, not a bad idea.
Exactly.
He would have solved a lot of problems if he actually made the sun. You know, maybe not in the middle of New York City, but like, you know,
right. And that's the thing. It's like
good intentions.
Right. And here's the thing. The hero wasn't here to stop the villain. It was just, or like stop the making of the sun to help power the city. That's not what it was.
Yeah.
It was just to stop everyone from being, harmful to everyone else. Because like, what if we make this power source for everybody, but it ends up hurting a lot of people? I'm gonna be a good hero, the United States of America.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and end this. Right. Also, I think this is the Spider-Man movie where Peter Parker has erectile dysfunction for half the movie.
What?
Yeah. He like can't get his webbing to work.
Oh, I got you.
He's like, I don't know what. I'm just like, not.
I was like, yo, is this something I just totally missed as a
like,
kid?
I'm just
You're
not
like,
the same Spider-Man I used to be. Something in my mind. I'm distracted.
Does anyone got any pills for this?
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
I need to drink more water. I think that's really what it is.
More water.
Like, just been drinking all night. I got a lot on my plate.
I gotta invent Blue Chew.
So much. I just really want. So then, Spider-Man 3 comes around the era of every late night show. Not only being out, but being very like opinionated about the war. Okay. So now you have all these different villains.
Yeah.
No, everyone's got their own voice. None of them kind of line up.
Is that the one with Venom?
Venom, Sandman, and Harry's Green Goblin.
Yes.
Or, Iran.
Right. Is it Iran or Iraq? Which one is the Green Goblin? Or is he just the Middle East?
Didn't we start in Iraq and move to Iran?
No. We started in Afghanistan and went to Iraq.
Afghanistan moved to Iraq. So, like, probably Iraq at this point. But, like, so, everyone's out to get the U.S., but the U.S. is just trying to do its job.
Yep.
And so then the U.S. thinks to itself, like, okay, well, maybe if I'm a little bit more evil, all right, maybe if I have a little bit of extra power, and kind of assert myself a little bit more, I'll be able to quell some of these villains for a little bit. You know, it may not be the right way to do it, but it'll be a way.
Okay.
And then that's Spider-Man 1 through 3, and I think that they're directly tied to the Iraq War.
Wow.
And and if anything is going to get me kicked off of
I mean, the war is over. This is a historical theory at this point. This isn't a conspiracy. This is a theory about movies and the writer-directors of those movies.
So what I would say is, to clear all of this up, I think Sam Raimi tried to connect this to the war. And I think like this was like
he would do some weird shit like that.
He would. And I think like that's what he was trying to do in these movies. Do I agree with everything that it was in?
Sure.
Who knows? Who knows?
That's another podcast.
I'm a man without opinions.
The next time Drex comes on, we're doing one about global geopolitics and the stranglehold the oil-producing companies have.
You know my thoughts about Finland? Let me tell you about Finland.
Now, they're not pulling their weight around here.
Yeah, okay. Poland, call me. Call me Poland. But no, yeah, so that's my theory about the Spider-Man.
Finland is the Raya of countries.
Absolutely.
It's like good on paper, not in theory.
No,
like, what are we doing
but
here?
you're paying way too much money.
You're paying way too much money.
Yeah. Oh, we have universal healthcare.
I think it's concerning how much I like that theory.
Really?
That quickly. It's like I should make sure I'm not being influenced by other crazy like conspiracy theories that quickly and be like, yeah, that checks out to me.
But it all checks out. It's like and especially if you watch them, you're like, like also, Spider-Man #1, 1 trillion American flags.
Yes. Well, yeah.
Spider-Man #2 had the scene where his mask comes off and people get to see him for who he really is on the subway.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey. This is New York.
Yeah.
You can be whoever the fuck you want to be. All right. Put that mask back on. No one saw shit.
Yeah.
All right. They like carried
that is what would happen too. Like growing up in the Midwest, I was like, what the? They're not going to like take a fucking picture? I'm like, no. They're like, get the fuck out of here. I don't want to know who you are.
A marathoner passed out yesterday at the NYC Marathon and people ran past. Like,
no.
Like, nah, I'm not messing up my time for you.
Yeah. You'd think at least all the tourists coming in for the marathon. Like, I get it if it was all actual New Yorkers running. But
they had to create the see something, say something for New Yorkers.
Yeah, I know.
Like, they're not saying that in Idaho.
No,
because they're going to tell you exactly what they saw.
Everyone in Idaho's a rat.
They're gonna be like, no, I saw a guy do a crazy thing. In New York, they're like, whatever, dude. He shits on the subway.
It's like, what are you gonna do?
Exactly.
I'm glad you brought up Spider-Man because I want to link it back to one of the things that you said, and I want to ask the question: why do the new Spider-Mans work so well when they don't follow that same internal struggle that the other superheroes are having? In that, like, he is a kid, but like there is a clear line of good and evil in all of the newer Spider-Man movies, including Into the Spider-Verse, which might be a top
Into the
3 Marvel
Spider-Verse is
movie.
amazing.
But like it is Tom Holland against the bad guys, and like maybe Jake Gyllenhaal tricks him a little bit, tricks the American public, but like for the most part, like he's bad. There's a clear line there.
Can I disagree with you on that?
Please.
Okay, I think that there are two things with Spider-Man, and I think that it's what's made him such a successful franchise for so long. Mm-hmm. Spider-Man is this teenage boy who, whether it be Miles Morales or Peter Parker, is supposed to relate to like you as you figuring it out. It's like a puberty story.
Yeah.
Right? You wake up and your body's different. You can do things that you weren't able to do. Your voice is changing. Your body, it's puberty. And in that, right, you have like the physical stuff of it, of like, I've got webs and I can do this and yada yada yada.
Yeah.
But I think that like the thing that connects fans to Spider-Man in a way that like these other shows haven't done so well is that like it's not the villain, it's the lesson. Spider-Man lost Iron Man. He lost Tony as a mentor. Tony Stark as a mentor. And so it's not necessarily that Jake Gyllenhaal was such a villain. It's the fact that like I'm hurt at Jake Gyllenhaal being a villain because I really wanted him to find a new mentor.
Ah, okay.
I really wanted him to have a father figure to like lean into and be like, no, like he's got me. He's gonna take care of me. He like has my best interest in mind, and he wants that. And so like the betrayal isn't that like he's a villain. We know Mysterio's a villain. The betrayal is like you went through all this work to make me trust you.
Yeah.
And then I didn't. Then you look at the new Spider-Man, right, with where everybody comes back in, and like he's got this like huge distrust of people from Jake Gyllenhaal, who's now exposed his identity to everybody. But he's trying to figure out this line of like, what type of hero am I going to be now that I don't have a mentor to tell me who that is? Right? And so he's got two warring ideologies. Doctor Strange is like, villains are villains, put them away, send them where they need to go.
Yep.
His aunt is like restorative justice. There's a reason why they're bad or considered bad, but like maybe you can make them better.
Yep.
Figure out how to make them better. The big betrayal moment for me in that movie, and the thing that carries that movie is like the person that you feel like was right was the person that got hurt by you doing the thing that they told you to do.
Okay.
Right? So like in his mind, he's got this conflicting story of like, if I just did what Doctor Strange said, even though I don't agree with it, my aunt would be alive.
Right.
So like
spoilers.
So what do I do? Right? Like what do I do? Do I become this cold, callous person?
Right.
Or do I like, despite everything going on, still kind of hold on to this thing? And so like that was the villain. The villain was this internal battle.
Gotcha.
These other things around him are just the manifestation of that internal battle.
I see.
And so seeing the other Spider-Man go like, look, you've experienced tragedy, so have we, and here's how we've experienced it.
Yep.
And like we decided to do good in spite of that was the lesson.
So it's a much more, like, even though there is a clear-cut villain, what you're saying is it's a much more human story.
It's a much more human story, which is what I was trying to speak to earlier.
Right.
Which is like, if I'm watching, the thing that like makes superheroes fun is somebody that you can relate to who has more power than you.
Yes.
Wow, if I could just kickflip my boss in the face, that would be insane. That would be amazing. And then I could like run and swing through the city and have the power to stop bad things from happening to good people. I don't have that. So what I can pull from those things are the lessons, which is why I think like Black Panther is going to do well this weekend, because a real life thing clashed with a comic book thing. Right?
Okay.
Chadwick Boseman passed away.
Right.
In the middle of COVID. So like there was no real chance to mourn him.
Okay. Yeah.
So I think that like for the black community, this movie, the villain doesn't matter.
Right.
The plot doesn't matter. Who the next Black Panther is doesn't matter. It's the closure.
Sure.
They're like, shit, I can now finally grieve with people about Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah.
In a space where that is okay to be grieving in.
Yeah.
It's like this real life meeting thing. So if they do it right, then it's a situation of like I love this movie because it gave me that opportunity to grieve.
Okay.
I love this movie because it gave me that closure. Not I love this movie because Namor's such a good villain.
Right.
Or I love this movie because the graphics were so good. I don't give a fuck about the graphics.
They're still cool.
They're cool.
But I get what you're saying.
So it's the human element of superhero movies that keeps people coming back. And I think that the algorithm of it all that has been happening lately in superhero shows has taken the human element out of it, and I think that's why fans are getting upset.
So that's your fix for them. Bring the human element back. We have to keep murdering the stars of these movies.
Not even
so
that
we can get closure on them.
You know what Marvel really needs to do? Marvel has spent a lot of time building out this universe. We know exactly what's happened. We know pretty much the entire timeline of everything, who all is involved. I think what Marvel really needs to do is release a rom-com or like a love life dating drama of just some guy who got blipped and is now back.
Okay.
And his girlfriend's like got a new boyfriend because it's been 5 years, and like she didn't think you were coming back, and now he's got to find like a new place and get back into the dating pool and things like that. And then as all of this stuff is happening, like he's still in the Marvel universe. So like, yeah, This just in, the universe changed today. The sky went black for 10 minutes because, this villain blocked out the sun. But don't worry, guys. Everything's fine. It's like you're living in this calamity, but it's so much less about the superheroes around it.
Right.
And so much more about the human element. So then once you can put the audience in that and be like, shit, it would be really hard to be gone for 5 years and come back and try to rebuild your life and all this other stuff outside of the superhero element. I think that would make Marvel like a way more fun and relatable place. But
I think that's a great idea.
Thank you.
I think Amazon should you should throw that at someone at your day job. It's like, hey, how do you guys feel about it's like, do you know anyone at Marvel? Like, is that
if Amazon ever partners with Marvel for a rom-com about someone living in a superhero world, post-blip, whatever, it's a dumb idea. It's dumb. It's dumb.
No,
it's dumb.
Nobody
Call
make
me.
this. Yeah, right.
I'm right here. Huge Amazon fan here. You can prime me a contract. You'll be there overnight. Whatever you need to do. Yeah, I'm here.
Damn. I you know what? I really appreciate this conversation because I think personally I had lost a little bit of the like magic around Marvel for all the reasons that I kind of said at the beginning. It's like I felt like it was algorithmic. There's just so many of them, but I really appreciate your point of view on it. That's like, no, this is why these are fun. Like, we're allowed to have fun and have these like human stories, and it doesn't have to be like this like perfect blockbuster movie to enjoy these anymore. So thanks for coming on. This was great. Me. What can you plug? Where are you going to be? Where can people find you?
I'm legally allowed to plug. No, I'm kidding. You can find me on all social media at This Guy Drex. I'm on Sports Talk Game Breakers on Prime Video Live. That's the legal name for it. Every day, Monday through Friday, 2 to 4 p.m. With my co-host, Eitan Levine. And you can catch me at pretty much any show in New York City because I have to be here 5 days a week. So, there you go. That's me.
Yeah. He's all over the place. You come to New York, you can find him on a show. As always, follow me at Corey T Comedy on all social media, and then come to my weekly show at Ferns in the East Village, New York. Drex done it, what, 2-3 times?
2-3 times. Yeah. I love it. It's one of my favorite shows in the city.
That means a lot. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Have me back in the time.
And then go check out. We were both on the Queen of Hearts podcast, so go check out those episodes.
Yes.
And go listen. I already did the podcast with Chelsea, who was on that episode with me. So go listen to that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That and also every last Thursday of the month, we're at the Gutter for NYC is Dead. We got pushed to December 1st. That's our next show because there was something better happening the night that we were doing our show.
That is such a bitch when that happens.
It really is. But catch us then.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's do it again soon.
Sounds good, man. Thank you.